to The World is Storytelling with me, Ronnie. And today I'm with the fantastic Luke, and we're climbing the gorgeous Cornhill, or Carn Clonhugh, the highest big mountain in the County of Longford. And this is the second time I climbed this hill. The first time was back in January. And back then I had this idea for the podcast that I would perhaps meet people along the walk and not actually arrange with them at the beginning or prior. And when I was there on that cold January day, I met a lovely woman called Annette, and she kindly recorded with me for a few minutes. And because we were in a bit of a wind tunnel there, when I got back and I was listening to the recordings, I couldn't hear a thing. And unfortunately, there was no way of restoring that. And even more unfortunately, because it was so cold and we were so wanting to get a move on, I never actually got Annette's contact details. So Annette, if you're listening, I apologise, and I'm glad I mentioned your name here. So all the way back to the spring, on a lovely spring day, super, super warm, I climbed Carn Clonhugh with Luke from Longford, and it was fantastic. And without further ado, have fun listening to this very, very lovely episode from the Longford County Peak. Oh, and before we get there, why does Tony Hawk hate the county that we're talking about today? Because it's County Longboard, not County Skateboard. Thank you very, very much for listening, and have a wonderful, wonderful day. Bye-bye. So tell a story, one that is true. Yeah. Welcome back to The World is Storytelling, and welcome to The World is Storytelling. Luke, how are you?
I'm very well, Ronnie.
Good.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Oh,
in such a beautiful location as well.
oof, what a place.
Yeah.
Where are we?
Right now we're on the top of Carn Hill in Longford, which is where I'm from, but I've never been to the top of the hill before. But it's really, really breathtaking, actually. Like, the gorse is in full bloom,
Yeah.
and the sun is cracking the stones. It's so tranquil. It's kind of amazing. It's really quite something to look at, to have this view. It's not the Longford I know, let me tell you that. I think we were kind of talking about this briefly earlier, but like, the first thing that comes to mind is like, I think like a lot of young people who grow up in a place, you kind of form this maybe negative association with it as being a place you want to move away from. But then during the pandemic, I moved back home for like about 8 months, I think it was in total, which is the longest time I'd spent in Longford since like living here as a child. And it was kind of amazing. And I think it was probably because of that particular time, everything was quite quiet, you know?
Yeah.
So you could really hear, like, when you went for a walk, you could hear like birdsong. There was very few cars on the road as well, so that really helped. So everything felt really magnified.
Yeah.
And I just remember, I went for like a walk on the bog near my house, like nearly every day. I would cycle down and then just like park the bike and then just go walking. And it was just kind of amazing, you know? Like the colours and stuff and the really particular things that grow there. Yeah, maybe that transformation is my memory of it, of my most maybe recent memory of Longford, is shifting that viewpoint, which for me felt quite meaningful. And now I love it, you know?
Yeah. And you were also telling me along on the way up that you've bottled the scent of Longford.
Yeah, that's right. I made a project recently. It was called Distillation. And it was inspired by the bog where I grew up in Longford, because like a few years ago, the peat harvesting industry in the Midlands kind of stopped.
Yeah.
And there was loads of different opinions about that. On the one side of it, you had people who were so optimistic about like the environmental potential of that place being allowed to heal itself and be re-wetted and rewilded. But then there was also loads of anxieties, I think, from people in terms of what would be next for that region once that industry had disappeared. So yeah, I was really interested in trying to make a project that sort of facilitated those two different perspectives. So yeah, I worked with a perfume maker whose name was Joan Woods. She runs an amazing company in West Cork called Waters and Wild. And I approached her to see if she'd be interested in collaborating with me to make a perfume out of the botanicals that grow on the bog. So we collected like bog myrtle and gorse, and we had our noses buried inside like the bog for a while, like to try and really understand what it smells like. So it was like this maybe very long kind of, in a way, like a year-long process of her coming and visiting the bog with me. And yeah, we just really experimented and kind of tried to pinpoint like what that smell was and how do we sort of express that through a perfume. As it turns out, we couldn't do it because I don't think you can recreate the scent of an Irish bog because it's so particular. So the essence then, or the perfume that we made, became more poetic, I think, in terms of it being an honouring of that place. I say it in the performance as well, that like, you know, if you really want to smell an Irish bog, you should probably just go to an Irish bog, you know. So yeah, we bottled it in a way.
Well, hey, very good.
But it was a very joyful process.
Yeah.
As with all of these things, it's kind of more about the process than it was about the end product.
Yeah. Not the greatest for podcasts, but it's almost it's almost amazing just to sit here quietly and hear all the things going on in the background.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you remember the place where you grew up? Do you remember it having any particular smell?
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest one that comes to mind is I grew up in the grand scheme of things, it's pretty central Manchester. So we're only about 2 kilometres away from the city centre. And back in the day, and probably until around 2000, there was the Boddington's Brewery. In the centre. I don't know if you've been to Manchester.
I haven't.
Oh,
but could you smell the hops?
So this was it. You could smell, I guess it was more the malt, like after the afterburn almost, and it was very, you know, Manchester's known for its rain and its humidity. And I remember, and I don't know why I seem to remember, it was always a Sunday morning. It probably was any morning, you know, waking up for kind of school in the winter, and it's kind of dark. It's probably, I was maybe about 6 or something.
Yeah.
And this kind of semi-light outside, but it's not really, and it's foggy and it's misty.
Yeah.
And so when the fog was low, when the clouds were low, the smell from the brewery would just linger everywhere.
Wow.
And I remember that, and I can kind of taste that to this day. I mean, and that's long gone. I mean, like I said, it's probably about 25 years ago they got rid of the brewery, and now for a long time it was just an empty car park. Now it's a shiny new building. I think the Manchester College has moved in there.
Right.
But yeah, that to me, that is if we think about a smell of my childhood.
Yeah, interesting. I spent a couple of months living in a city called Mannheim in Germany.
Okay, yeah.
I don't know if you've been there. It's in like Baden-Württemberg, I think it's called, that region.
Yeah.
But it has a really interesting smell as a city as well, because on one end there's a chocolate factory.
Okay.
And then on the complete opposite end there's like a beer brewery. So when you're walking along you have this very interesting cocktail of scents between the chocolate and the beer, sort of, which is quite pleasant actually. Yeah. So that was a nice little treat. Yeah, like I live in Lanesborough, which is in the south of Longford. So like it's just very close to the Shannon River, and like where our house is, it's close to a bog. But really, I think like if you were to ask me what the scent of my childhood was, that's a really hard question. But I think like creosote, you know, that stuff
Yeah.
you put on a fence.
Yeah.
I have a really strong memory of that. I think because like every summer we like paint the fence outside our house, so I have this really like sort of that's the first one that comes to mind. I just really remember that sort of really strong, harsh kind of smell. Yeah, I went to school in Longford town. What would the smell of Longford town be? Maybe like chicken fillet rolls or something.
Go on, describe your chicken fillet roll order.
God, I don't know what I'd put on it. Probably there'd have to be coleslaw on there. I really like coleslaw.
Yeah. You'd fit in very well in Germany.
Yeah. And I'd put some leaves in there, I think.
Okay.
That's that would probably be what would go on there. But yeah, when we were making the perfume, it was kind of interesting because we visited the bog quite a lot, and we also tasted things as we went, which was I probably wouldn't recommend doing.
Not unless you know.
Yeah. But
I mean, you said you had your nose in the bog. You didn't say you had your tongue in the bog as well.
Yeah. We didn't have it in the, we didn't have the tongue in there, but we tasted a few of the ferns and stuff that grew at the side.
Wow. Yeah.
And it was really remarkable because they, I don't know, like maybe before really kind of doing a deep dive into that, my perception of a bog was that it had this very like deep sort of earthy beetroot kind of smell, you know, that like really
cloying.
Yes, yeah. But actually there's so many things that grow there that have this really sort of floral, sort of citrusy thing going on.
Okay.
Like a lot of the ferns smell really like lemon zest. It was really interesting and tasted quite lemony as well.
Yeah.
But like, you know, like we're surrounded by gorse flower here, which would be quite common as well down where we live, and it's kind of amazing because when the breeze is blowing on a sunny day, like it smells really like fresh coconut, which is like a really like you wouldn't think it like, but it smells really fragrant and coconutty. It's kind of amazing. But actually we tried to distill gorse during the process.
Yeah.
And it didn't work because it doesn't actually produce much. Something that I learned from the process is that it's all to do with the oil that comes from the plant,
the essential oil.
Yeah, which is what gives it that sort of smell.
Yeah.
Whereas like fresh gorse actually doesn't have a lot of oil in it, so it actually doesn't translate very well into that form. So some things just work better, I guess, like with herbs as well. Like some just work better as dried, or you know, versus fresh. You know.
Yeah.
And Joan is amazing. I mean, I learned so much from her, you know, through the collaboration.
When, you know, we're talking about distilling the smell of a bog, but if you thought about the hue of Longford for you, what would be the colour of Longford that you grew up with, and then of Longford town, and now of the Longford that we're seeing today? This is not a test.
Yeah, I think the colour of Longford for me would be yellow. I think the gorse flower is one of those really striking plants or sort of natural things that I associate with Longford, just from my experience of it. But like Longford town, I don't know. Yeah, that's a hard one. I think Longford town is probably more grey. The school I went to was grey.
Yeah.
The cathedral is the kind of dominating image of the town. It's quite grey. The weather's often grey, you know. But grey can be good, you know.
Grey can absolutely be good. I mean, as someone from Manchester, grey has to be good. Otherwise, you're screwed.
Yeah. But it's kind of like, it's kind of a joy to be up so high today, because I'm down so low so often in talking about like in terms of place. Somebody told me recently there's more cows in Ireland than there is people.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, I would believe that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I think there's like 7 million cows or something like that.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh. So you better hope they don't get any notions.
Yeah.
Because they could win. They would definitely win. Like, if it's 1 versus 1, no chance.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, there's something quite serene about a cow. I think the people of Longford are amazing. Like, there's amazing people who live here and amazing stories. And the nature, all across here, from like the bogs to where we are now on Carn Hill, it's really beautiful. You know?
Yeah.
It's worth visiting. I mean, I don't want to sound like I'm Fáilte Ireland.
I mean, it's certainly not for free if they're...
for Longford.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's a beautiful place. I think everyone should come to Longford at least once in their life.
Oh, absolutely. That's great. I mean, and on Fáilte Ireland, if you're listening, please do pay us to promote Longford. We can do a good job.
I have very wonderful friends who are very dear to me. And I feel very grateful to have them. And that's something brag about. I'd brag about them, maybe.
Which is lovely for your friends, but that also doesn't really answer the question. Because you're not bragging about yourself here. Very modest of you.
Well, one thing I will say is that... So my background is in theatre. So I studied drama and theatre studies as my degree. And we talked a little bit about that idea of like returning to a place earlier, like after being away. And over the last like 3 or 4 years, not by design, but just because it's been a constant source of inspiration, I've been making so much work in relation to the landscape in Longford.
Okay.
And in some ways I'm kind of like, wow, I could just spend a lifetime here, like making, you know, it's all already there. I'm really grateful to be doing it and really excited to be doing it. Yeah, I'm excited for what's to come as well, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think sometimes we have this perception that like everything is somewhere else and you have to go off and find it, or you have to go far and wide and da-da-da. And that's true to a certain extent, but it's been kind of really, for me, when I look back on like my life so far and my work so far, it's been this process of traveling out and then retreating back and returning back and rooting, and then kind of going like everything was there all along. Oh, I have a really good joke, but I have to look it up first.
Okay, go on.
Because I won't be able to tell it.
Oh no, fire away. I mean, as you do that, I'll ask you, which county in Ireland is the best for use as a limousine, a stretch limousine?
I don't know. What's the answer?
A Longford. Hey,
that's very good.
Thank you.
I'm trying to find it.
No rush. In the meantime, we'll have a musical interlude. Do you ever call that a musical interlude?
I
when
don't.
you perform in between?
I haven't done that before.
Maybe you should.
But it's a good.
We're doing some ASMR of me crunching down on a banana chocolate.
It's not coming to me.
Oh, fair enough. Do you ever...
Sorry.
no, it's fine. Do you ever, when you're wearing too many clothes, do you say lukewarm?
I have been known to do that in the past.
Oh, very good.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah, I have done that.
Amazing. Welcome back.
Episode 2.
Episode 2 of Luke on Cornhill. It's been days and days and days, but we finally have the joke. What's the joke, Luke? Put you on the spot now.
So the joke is, this man is walking across a zebra crossing in the middle of Longford town, and he's carrying a pastry and a cup of coffee, and he bumps into a woman as he's crossing the road, and he knocks the coffee and the pastry down onto the ground, and she says, I'm so sorry, are you okay? And he was like, yeah, I'm fine. It was a good cup of coffee, but a pedestrian croissant.
But very, very good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, Luke, it's been an absolute pleasure.
Thanks, Ronnie.
Thank you so much.
A pleasure for me as well. Thanks for inviting me.
Some say the old ruins in the sand tell us every story will come to an end. But my dear, we can live what we tell. We are storytelling.